gonna be the year I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna work out more. Spend less time on social media. Yeah. This is gonna be the year I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna work out more. Spend less time on social media. Yeah. This is gonna be the year I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna work out more. Spend less time on social media. Yeah. We gotta do something different. So why is it that we find it so difficult to stick with our resolutions every year? And why is it that so many people find themselves falling off the bandwagon by March? So much so that it's a joke, Well, there are really several things that go into this whole cycle of setting a resolution and failing, and setting a resolution and failing, and setting a resolution and failing every year that so many people find themselves in. And one of the first things is the resolutions, because resolutions are so strict and so all or nothing. It's just like, I'm going to do this every day, or, I'm going to be this way this year, and things like that, one little mess up, one little slip up, one little, whatever, and it's all over. And then you just give up, and so it might be better to set goals instead of resolutions, because goals are something that instead of doing, you work towards. Goals are something you work towards, you build up to. They're something you become rather than something you are or do. And then you could take these goals and break them down into more manageable bite-sized pieces. And you can take these manageable bite-sized pieces and set these smaller goals throughout the year to get to that bigger goal by the end of the year. And that makes it manageable, that makes it more something that's less overwhelming, breaking it down into bite-sized pieces and setting goals instead of resolutions. And that brings us to the next thing, which is habits. You take these smaller bite-sized chunks, these smaller goals, and you form habits around them. And the thing about habits is that it leads to a much higher rate of consistency, which is really the key. Consistency is the key to any type of change, is consistency, and habits lead to a higher rate of consistency. And the habits become automatic, become part of who you are, and then you don't really have to think about it. just do. And they become part of what you do every day, every week, every month. And like I said, it becomes more consistent, which will help you make the change that you want to make and achieve the goals that you've set throughout the year. And the next thing is to write it down. You write down your goals, write down what it is that you want to achieve. And don't just write it down. Because a lot of people write down their New Year's resolutions and still don't achieve it. So when you're writing it down, it needs to have specific dates. You take these smaller bite-sized chunks, these smaller goals that you want to set throughout the year, and you set specific dates to achieve these by. I want to achieve Z by the end of the year. Well, I'm going to take W, X, and Y and set them at strategic dates throughout the year, different times throughout the year, so that by the end of the year, I can be at Z. And that helps keep you on track so that you can make sure W, X, and Y are taken care of by the end of the year so that you can be at Z by the end of the year. And this helps keep you more accountable to yourself and leads to a higher rate of carry through. And also with the scheduling and the writing it down, write down days and times that you want to work out. If you want to work out 3 days a week, write down exactly which days you're going to work out and what time. Are you going to work out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m.? Or are you going to work out Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 6 a.m.? What works out best for you. Be specific with that. Be specific with what it is that you want to do. Be specific with when it is that you want to do it. Getting specific helps set definitions, boundaries, and deadlines. And that keeps you on track and keeps you more accountable to yourself. We also need to think about our environments, because our environments affect us a lot more than we realize. The things that we see, hear, smell, touch, all those kinds of things affect us greatly. And so if we can control our environments, we can shape our behaviors in the way that we want. So this is things like, I keep heard of the 20-second rule. This doesn't have anything to do with how long food has been on the floor. This is 20 seconds or less to get something started makes you much more likely to do it. And 20 seconds or more makes you much less likely to do it. So this would be things like laying out your map or your weights or your workout clothes, your shoes, whatever, to make it easier and quicker to get to your workout. Or it could be, on the flip side, things like setting up passwords and keys and codes and lock screens on your devices and browsers and apps and things like that to make it much more difficult to get on the internet or social media or whatever. So removing barriers to whatever you want to do and setting up barriers to what you don't want to do. It helps control your environment and helps shape your behavior in the way that you want. And this can also be setting up cues and reminders and things like that, like if you want to drink more water, setting out your water bottle on your desk so that you can see it and remind yourself, I wanted to drink more water. Or setting out your workout clothes oh yeah, I wanted to work out, and things like that. Or setting alarms and timers and things like that to remind you to work out or drink water or whatever. Or reminders, alarms to remind you to, think about what am I doing? Am I mindlessly scrolling social media? And if I am, I need to stop, or whatever. Things like that too. So setting these cues and reminders to remind you of what it is that you wanted to do, or to remind you to think about what you are doing in this moment. Is it something you didn't want to be doing? Or a behavior you wanted to cut down on? Things like that. Can help shape your behavior in the way that you want. And the last thing for today is to find a friend. Because everything's always better if you have someone to share it with. If you have someone to share it with, things are much more enjoyable. So that will, if you have someone to share your workouts with or whatever, it makes it more enjoyable. And it's also sets up a support system, because you have somebody to lean on, somebody that's there with you, somebody that's sharing the experience, somebody to talk to, somebody, if you're struggling, you can talk to them about it, things like that. It sets up a support system, and it also sets up accountability, because your friend is there, and there's kind of this thought of, if I don't do the workout, I've let my friend out. Because now they're having to work out by themselves or whatever. Things like that. It sets up that system of support and accountability. It sets up that outside accountability that helps add that extra layer to make you more likely to carry through and achieve your goals. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you got something out of it, that it meant something to you. If it did, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe and ring that bell icon so you don't miss the next video. And as always, train hard, stay inspired, and I'll see you next time.